Hello and welcome to the Bundesliga Show, the review show, obviously our regular Monday night show. Yeah, obviously the Bundesliga 2021-22 season. So yeah, as you can see, I'm on my own tonight. Yeah, I think Rory's 30th birthday celebration went a little bit too far, maybe, and he's ended up getting a bit of a bad head, a bit of food poisoning and stuff like that. So I hope if you're watching, Rory, that you're feeling a little bit better today. But yeah, I'm going to take it alone today, and yeah, let's just see how it goes, really. So yeah, any of you guys watching today, it'd be really, really appreciated if you could help me out and send in some comments as well. That'd be great, because obviously we want to keep, obviously with it just being me tonight, it'd be perfect if you guys could kind of send in some questions and help me out with that as well. I know a few of the guys from over the bar have promised to help me out. So yeah, I'm waiting for your questions as well today. Okay, so yeah, obviously we are doing the Bundesliga show in partnership with Bundesliga Boxes today. So yeah, check them out. They're a brilliant company that kind of do all Bundesliga related boxes. You can get some nice shirts. For example, mine today, my Tasmania Berlin, the worst team in Bundesliga history shirt. Yeah, so nice little home jersey of theirs today. I think we've also got ones from Darmstadt, from Paderborn, just about everything. Yeah, and you can also get your scarves as well. Get your me and Rory both have a DFB German national scarf too. So yeah, check out Bundesliga Boxes. The guy who does them is brilliant. The company's growing more and more, so we're really happy to have our partnership with them for this season. Okay, yeah, so without further ado, let's make a start on the results from week 21. So it's been another brilliant week. We promised it was going to be a great week of Bundesliga action, this one, and it absolutely didn't disappoint, that's for sure. So let's have a look at the scores on the doors, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. So Hertha Berlin drew 1-1 with Bochum on Friday night. And moving on to the Saturday afternoon games, Frankfurt got a really entertaining 3-2 win away in, beleaguered Stuttgart, whatever way you want to put it, but they're not doing very well at the moment, that's for sure. Really not looking good for them as they slip down to 17th and they're now 4 points adrift of 16th as well. So things are looking a little bit tough for them at the minute. Mainz got a really good 2-0 win over, slightly faltering Hoffenheim, who are not doing as well in the Runde so far. Augsburg getting a really, really good win over Union Berlin. Obviously, Union didn't have the best transfer window, did they? Obviously, using Max Kruse and Friedrich at the back, who went to Gladbach. So, yeah, difficult result for them. Bielefeld make it 6 unbeaten now, getting a really good 1-1 draw against Gladbach. That's the kind of game that they might have thought they could have won this one, but yeah, it wasn't to be. But it's still another good draw now. 3 wins and 3 draws in the last 6 games. FC Köln, I think I tipped this one. A lot of people were going for Freiburg to get the job done in this one. But yeah, Köln getting the 1-0 win over Freiburg. Obviously, Baumgart wasn't present for the game, but still a really, really impressive win for the home side. Then we had the first of 2 kind of super, mega games, really. Bayern Munich beating Leipzig 3-2 at home on the Saturday evening. And then on the Sunday afternoon, we had a brilliant game. I think I told just about everyone that I know, to be honest, to back over 6 and over 7, over 5 and over 6 goals in this game. And yeah, surely enough, a lot of people won a lot of money from this one, because it did end up Dortmund 2, Leverkusen 5. I think I tipped 4-3 to the home side, but it doesn't matter really who scores the goals because we just knew there were going to be goals in this one, that's for sure. Then, Wolfsburg. I didn't think I was going to be saying it again this season, to be honest with you, but yeah, with a really, really good 4-1 win at home against Greuther Fürth. What a result that was. Jonas Wind started that game, the big money signing from, obviously, from Copenhagen. And then, obviously they did lose Wout Weghorst to Burnley, the first game without Wout Weghorst, but that man Max Kruse also started in this one. And, the new signings came good and they got the 4-1 win over what was at the time, it was a 16th versus 18th place game. But now Wolfsburg, with that win, have gone back up to 12th position. So yeah, that recaps the games for that recaps the results for week 21. So let's move on to now, obviously, the one of the main parts of our show, OTB's featured four. So yeah, this is where me and Rory choose the best 4 games of the weekend. It's usually difficult, and it was again this weekend because there were tons of classic encounters this weekend. But yeah, let's have a look at what we went for as game number 4. So yeah, we went for Augsburg 2, Union Berlin 0. I mean, I don't think anyone really predicted a win for Augsburg in this one. I mean, we all knew that Union were a little bit depleted after losing Max Kruse to Wolfsburg and Marvin Friedrich to Borussia Mönchengladbach a little bit earlier in the window, that one. But they did have the returning Awoniyi, who came back from, obviously, Nigeria's disappointing African Cup of Nations, where they lost in the last 16. But yeah, I mean, as for the game itself, it was really the first goal for Augsburg was a bit of a disaster for goalkeeper Luther of Union Berlin. He just, under not that much pressure, really, he just puts like a ridiculous ball out into the middle of the park, really, where it's like a mixture of Hahn of Augsburg and the defender, I think it was Gieselmann of Union Berlin, and they kind of make a mess up of it both, really. But the ball ends up in the feet of the big Augsburg centre forward, Gregoritsch, the Austrian international, who just comfortably side-footed home, really, for 1-0. And Union, they don't give many cheap goals like that up, do they? But they did in this game. It was a bit of a nightmare for them. Then, yeah, it continued really with more Augsburg pressure. That man, Gregoritsch, cracked a brilliant effort from about 30 yards, smash onto the bar. It was a really, really unlucky one, really. It deserved a goal, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so it ended 1-0 as the half went into half time. And then, yeah, it continued more Augsburg pressure. I think Gieselmann had a header just wide for the away side, Union Berlin, but it just didn't really get any better for the away side. They didn't turn up for this game. They didn't put in their best form. And it was that man, Andre Hahn, who did have a good game, by the way. Doesn't always turn up for these kind of matches, but yeah, he did in this one. And just before the hour, he rasped an absolutely brilliant effort, long beyond the touch of Luther for 2-0 to the home side. Then, yeah, I mean, Union tried to make a few subs. I think they brought on Geraldo Becker and the like, but it just didn't work out for them. And it was just a poor performance all in all, really, for the away side. Yeah, very, very disappointing for them. They've got obviously a lot of work to do. They did bring Sven Mikel on as well, the big money signing, the 2.5 million euro signing from Paderborn, who has been signed to replace Max Kruse. Didn't really make much of an impact after coming off the bench, but yeah, great result for Augsburg and Markus Weinzel's men. That we always say, don't we, that they're good at picking up results when they need it, and they did it again today. You just get the feeling that Augsburg might just have enough to stay up really this season, to be honest. It's the home form has been very good. They had 12,000 fans back in the stadium again. And, the Bavarians, they really like to get behind the teams. And I think Augsburg fans are underrated, really. And they really got behind the team. And, it was a very, very good performance and a well-deserved win for Augsburg. Probably could have been even more comfortable, to be honest with you, this one. Yeah, great to see. We've got a lot of fans as well. Yeah, Paul McGarrigy says, evening, Mark, as well. Hi, Paul. Yeah, hope you're doing well over there in Manchester. Yeah, we've got Gary Jones as well. Yeah, hi, Mark, flying solo. Yeah, I am indeed. Yeah, let's see how it goes tonight. Yeah, let's go to the first question of the night as well from Paul McGarrigy. Do you think Bielefeld will see the 1-1 draw at home to Gladbach as 2 crucial points dropped? They're in a winning position against an underperforming side and have a tough run ahead. Yeah, I was going to mention this one actually, Paul. Yeah, because I would totally say yes. Obviously, they took the lead very early on. They were dominating the game as well. And yeah, it was getting pretty tough for Gladbach. But, Gladbach have got better players than Bielefeld ultimately. And obviously, they did lose Zakaria to Juventus, the kind of main midfielder in the transfer window. But I still think it's an okay point simply because of how well they've been doing, really, the home side. I mean, there's 6 games unbeaten now. They've had wins at Frankfurt and Leipzig. they're a great side, really. And I think they'll comfortably stay up, to be honest, that's for sure. They do have a tough run ahead, but I think they've got enough quality in there to keep getting results, to be honest with you, Paul. I just think they're a good side. They've got decent players, and obviously they've got that man, Patrick Wimmer, who's just been brilliant, really, this season, and he had another good game against Gladbach. So yeah, Rory. Yeah, Rory is a little bit sick. Yeah, he says, "Evening, Mark. Gutted to be on my sick bed this week, and I'm sure you'll smash it." Yeah. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show on your sick bed there, Rory, and we look forward to seeing you back, obviously, on Thursday, I hope. Yeah. So, yeah, another comment about the game as well, Paul. Yeah, just when it looked as though they were about to get some distance from the relegation zone, makes the game against Augsburg in a few weeks even more crucial. Yeah. But yeah, I would agree. I presume, I'm not sure who you're talking about there, Paul, actually. Whether you're talking about Bielefeld, I would imagine, yeah. But I think they're a better side than a lot of the teams down there, to be honest. They've got quality within the ranks, and I just think they've got too much quality to go down, in my opinion. But yeah, anyone who disagrees, please write in and let me know on that as well. Yeah. Oh, Gary Jones, Stuttgart is so bad. They're definitely going down. Yeah. Oh, Rory's not going to be happy about that one, I don't think. But yeah, where do you start with explaining how bad they've been? Yeah, well, I think obviously at the start of the season, it was injuries, basically. They just had a team depleted with injuries. They had the likes of Ziyech was injured for the first 6 months of the season. Silas, who was so good as well. He was injured for months and months. I think 8-9 months, actually, he was injured. Yeah, I think they had other players injured too. Mavropanos, the key centre-back, was injured for a while. Even though he's been good when he's played, they haven't been able to get him out on the pitch often enough. So, yeah, it's been a really poor season. And then since the break, they have actually had pretty much a full complement of players. But obviously, the players are negative. They're depressed. They're not playing well. And it's we'll just have to see what they're going to do for the last 13, 14 games of the season. Yeah, Dave Pearson as well. We've got a full complement of over the bar guys in tonight. Yeah, what do you make of my beloved Curl this season? My beloved Kölner having. Yeah, I mean it's been brilliant, hasn't it? I'm not sure that I'd say they're really your beloved though, Dave. Let's be honest. I think you've got a few more years of supporting them to say they're your beloved club yet. But yeah, I think they've been absolutely brilliant so far this season. Stefan Baumgart, he's been the absolute star of the show in the Bundesliga this year. He's been brilliant. The new manager, obviously, coming into the Bundesliga this season. They've had so many good performers. I mean, obviously, Anthony Modeste is probably the key man in terms of the goals. But obviously, Jonas Hector is a quality player. They've got defensively, they've been a lot more solid. Florian Kainz has been absolutely brilliant this season from the very first game. I can honestly see them qualifying for Europe this season. I think they've been that good, to be honest. Yeah, in reply to, we've also got a comment in from Rory as well. It's been a nightmare of the season. Not sure what's gone wrong apart from the obvious injuries. Yeah, that's what we mentioned. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Pellegrino Matarazzo is really, really popular with the Stuttgart fans, but you got to question like how much longer he's going to be given really at the minute because the 4 points adrift now of that 16th spot and they're just going further and further behind. I think all the other teams in the league look good enough to pick up points and it's not looking good for the Stuttgarters, the Baden-Württembergers at the minute, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, nice comment from Dave as well. For a bit of light relief, most Brits would say the best thing to come out of Germany is Aldi. Do you agree? And what is the German perception of Aldi? Yeah, it's a good question, actually, Dave, that one. I would say it's not got the best reputation in Germany, to be honest with you. It's one of the two big discount supermarkets, along with Lidl as well, of course, which you have better known as Lidl in the UK, which you also have over there. Yeah, I think there are better supermarkets over here. If any of you guys want to come to Germany, you've got Rewe is a lot better. Actually, Rewe, I think, are the sponsors of Cologne as well, Dave. So, yeah, you got to check out Rewe when hopefully you come over here to Germany at some point. Yeah. Who else have we got? Yeah. Oh, we've also got Andrelina as well. Yeah, evening, Mark. Yeah, thanks for the comment as well. All the way over from Brazil too. Yeah. So, yeah, good to see you in here too. Yeah, I'll come back to some of the other questions a little bit later because I want to obviously focus on going through the feature four. But thanks a lot for the questions, by the way. It's fantastic. Yeah, so game number 3, we're going to talk about that team, Stuttgart versus Frankfurt. I mean, this was a classic Bundesliga game, really, wasn't it? I mean, two sides who, probably haven't had the best seasons, including I'd include Frankfurt in that as well, because they had a great end to the first half of the season, but a terrible start to the Rückrunde before this game. They'd only taken 1 point from 3 games in the first 3 matches of the Rückrunde. But yeah, obviously they did manage to get the W in this game with a 3-2 win in Stuttgart. Yeah, sorry to keep mentioning Stuttgart's failures, but it's just one problem after the other for them at the minute. And started off with that man Ndicka finding the back of the net from a corner. He seems to get a lot of goals, doesn't he, the centre half? I think that's 4 or 5 league goals he's found so far this season. But again, it's absolutely appalling defending from Stuttgart, really straight from the corner. I mean, Frankfurt continued to dominate the match as well, really, for the first half. I think Lindstrom, he's such a good player, Lindstrom, but he doesn't get the goals. That's the problem with him, really. I mean, he's missed a lot of chances in the Rückrunde so far, and he missed another, which would have put them 2-0 up relatively early on in the game, really, and that would have made it very difficult for Stuttgart to come back into it. But then, just before half-time, I mean, Stuttgart haven't done much at all, really, in the game. But, that man, Borna Sousa, the brilliant set-piece deliverer, puts in another good ball. And it kind of hits Waldemar Anton, the centre-half for Stuttgart. And it just finds a way into the back of the net, really. I don't think Anton really knew that much about what was going on, in truth. And it was a lucky goal, that's for sure, the equaliser for Stuttgart. But they end up going in 1-1 in a half where they've not really done very much, in truth. But then, the key moment is in the second half, isn't it? I mean, the substitution of Aydin Hrustic, who has actually played a lot of games in this season so far, but he didn't start this particular match. Yeah, he ends up the corner is cleared right at the very start of the second half, and he rafts in an absolutely brilliant effort as well. Absolutely brilliant strike on the half volley into the back of the net for 2-1 to the away side. But then Stuttgart probably have the best kind of period of the match, really, in this one. I thought finally, after so long, really, that Sousa-Kalajdzic partnership was starting to work wonders, really. And Kalajdzic actually went in on goal on about 65 minutes, and he screwed woefully wide. He looked like a man who was really lacking confidence, and he just screwed wide from really well placed, let's be honest. And then just 4 or 5 minutes later, Borna Sousa swings in an absolutely beautiful ball to the far post. And then basically Kalajdzic couldn't miss to make it 2-2. And, you're just thinking it's another one of those games that have got away for Frankfurt. They blow a lot of leads, don't they? Let's be honest. I mean, it's one of the problems for Frankfurt, but they weren't to be denied in this game. And it was that man, Aydin Hrustic, again, with a really, really nice strike again to make it 3-2 after 77 minutes. And that gives them the win. I think obviously Stuttgart did harry a lot in the last 10 minutes, but ultimately I think Frankfurt were the better side and did deserve the 3 points. But a few other comments coming in as well. And Dave Pearson, is there any young stars Mark thinks we should pay close attention to in the second half of the season? I mean, from Frank, he looks like a real player as well. He looked good in a lot of the games in the first half of the season. Had just lost his form a little bit. Obviously, picked up superb, basically, in this match. 2 really good strikes to win the game. Other stars. I mean, a lot of Premier League have got to look out for Florian Wirtz. I mean, if you guys don't watch the Bundesliga very much, he is the kind of man to watch nowadays. Wirtz of Bayer Leverkusen, absolutely brilliant player, and he's been kind of billed as the next Kai Havertz. And I fully expect him to move to probably either La Liga or to the Premier League within the next year or two maximum, really. Possibly even in the summer, he's being linked. Absolutely even Jude Bellingham, I mean, for any of you guys who wonder what the hype's about, I mean, didn't have his best game this weekend, but he's been absolutely brilliant for most of this season and one of the big kind of bright sparks for Borussia Dortmund this season. So yeah, if you guys want to watch the Bundesliga, if you don't watch so often, one of the best things that we always talk about is the number of young stars. There's absolutely no, end to these brilliant young players that you can see in the Bundesliga. So let's have a look at this. Johnny B, Forest Green Rovers fan. Yeah, what team in the Bundesliga is most like Forest Green Rovers with the ethical stance? Yeah, I will support them. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I don't know that much about Forest Green, to be honest. But from what I know is that they're very much into the green side of things, green energy. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they wear recycled shirts as well, which is quite a, breakthrough really for English clubs. Anyway, to be honest, in Germany, like green issues are really, really big in general, actually. Like a lot of German people really, really care about the environment and green stuff in general. And I would say in general, German people are pretty ethical in the way that they live their lives, Yeah, I remember when I first came to Germany, actually, I was really surprised at the level of recycling here compared to the UK and the other countries that I lived in. Here you have to recycle everything, and you could even get fines if you don't recycle really closely. So it's definitely something worth doing. I think in regard to which team shares the ethical stance, I would say pretty much every team in Germany has a certain level of ethics. I would say, as I say, it's a very important thing within the society. I would say if you're really looking for like real kind of hardcore ethical clubs, so I would probably be looking at like Union Berlin, for example, really. I mean, they're a club that is purely about the fans, purely about like the community and things. They don't even have advertising in the stadium even now. I think they considered it after COVID because obviously some of the problems that they've had as a result of that. But, they don't have any halftime entertainment. It's only the fans singing songs and whatever. It's a real kind of old school club, Union Berlin, that's for sure. Yeah, and another question as well. Yeah, Mark, are you going to talk about the team you follow in Germany? Yeah. I think the reason why I don't talk that much about that is because my team isn't actually in the Bundesliga. That's the problem. Yeah, so my team is actually FC Nuremberg. It's based in the city where I live as well. The German pronunciation is Nuremberg, but the British is Nuremberg. You probably know better. Yeah, they're a team in the second league, the Zweite Bundesliga, one of the biggest clubs in Germany, really. Well, at least the Nuremberg fans would tell you that. But yeah, I mean, it's the club hasn't had much success at all in the last 50 years, really, apart from one DFB Pokal in 2007. When they beat Frankfurt in the final. All the Nuremberg fans talk about that match like it was yesterday, literally. And but they did get that win in the Pokal, which was massive for the club, massive for the city. But yeah, it's been a long, long time since FC Nuremberg have really kind of been, a strong team. Really, they struggle financially. They don't really have good backers, and they often rely on kind of young players or freebies from like Bayern Munich, because Munich is really nearby as well to Nuremberg. It's only like an hour on the train, really. So yeah, they do have a kind of connection with Bayern, maybe Augsburg as well, which is the other Bavarian Bundesliga club. But it's very hard for them to compete, and they actually got smashed 5-0 at home to bottom of the league this weekend as well. So I don't want to dwell too much on my German team this weekend, that's for sure. Yeah. John Fleming, we'll answer your question a little bit later as well. What was your favorite game of the weekend? Because, obviously we're counting down that as well. But, yeah, there were a lot of good games this weekend, that's for sure. Yeah. What else have we got? Yeah. Do the Germans rate the cup as highly as we cherish the FA Cup in England? I asked because it's been a FA Cup weekend. Yeah, I would say that's a good question, actually, because we want to kind of focus a bit more as well on the DFB Pokal next year. Me and Rory have talked quite a lot about that because we, it's a really, really good tournament, actually. And pretty much every team goes hammer and tongue to win it as well, actually. It's, this year has been a lot of shocks as well. Like Bayern Munich are already out, Borussia Dortmund are already out, Leverkusen are out. There's only really Leipzig still in it, the kind of real big hitters over in Germany. So yeah, it's worth checking out really. We could see a shock winner for the cup this year. There's still four second league teams in it as well, which is incredible really for the quarterfinals. And I think 2 of them play each other as well. So it's definitely worth checking out. I think Leipzig are the big favourites this year, but there's still the likes of Freiburg are still batting, Bochum, obviously having a really good season in their first year back in the Bundesliga, and Union Berlin too are still in it. So yeah, definitely worth checking out the German Cup, or DFB Pokal as it's known over here. Yeah, another question coming in today from Steve Timms. Do you think any of the old East German clubs will make it to the top flight anytime soon, like Hansa Rostock or Dynamo Berlin? And is it true they have firms like Millwall? Yeah. I mean, obviously, the East-West divide is still like a big issue in Germany, actually. Yeah, it's even now, like a lot of East Germans kind of claim that sometimes there's a discrimination between the West side, who kind of in some ways look down on the Eastern people in some ways. They actually call them Aussies, which is quite an interesting point, because obviously we in English, we call Aussies Australians, but in Germany they call Aussies East Germans. Literally, it's like a kind of slang name for the East Germans. But yeah, with regard to the football clubs, yeah, I mean, Hansa Rostock is a massive club, you know, and quite ironically, they actually played each other this weekend. Hansa Rostock and Dynamo Dresden, who are like probably the 2 biggest traditional clubs in the eastern part of Germany. I think Hansa actually won that game 4 or 5-1. So yeah, their fans are definitely going to be happy. But with regard to whether any of them are going to make it to the top flight, I think it's very unlikely at the minute. I mean, both Hansa and Dynamo are both down towards the bottom of the Zweite Bundesliga at the minute. I think both of them will just be happy to maintain the status in the second league and then try to build, you know, more and more in the next few years and make a promotion push. But yeah, obviously we do have 2 teams from the east part of Germany in the Bundesliga, Union Berlin and RB Leipzig. Yeah, but obviously RB Leipzig is like a very kind of controversial club because, you know, they're not one of the traditional teams. They were only formed, I think, in 2008 or 2009. You know, so I mean, they're quite a controversial club. Union Berlin also, that to be honest, in the East Germany days, they weren't really a big deal, Union Berlin at all. And they spent most of their history in the second league of the old East German leagues. So it's kind of strange that they've managed to come so strong nowadays. And I think it's testament to the way that they're run and, you know, the fans and the way they built that club, because it's really impressive, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do people in Germany think Haaland is going to Man City or Real Madrid? Where should I put my money on for the summer? Yeah, actually, a lot of people are talking about Real Madrid. You know, I'll be honest, a lot of people seem to think that Real Madrid is going to be the likely destination. But I always thought he'd end up in the Premier League, to be honest, because I thought Man City is like, his dad obviously played for Man City. I mean, Leeds fans would like to think he'd join Leeds because the guy was born in Leeds, which a lot of people forget as well. I mean, he's a fluent English speaker. He'd probably fit in perfectly in England, I would imagine. But I mean, Real Madrid seem to be, you know, they seem to be targeting him as the main man. And not surprisingly, really. I mean, obviously, there's rumours that they want to sign both Mbappe and Haaland too. So we'll have to see whether they can afford it, because, you know, a lot of these big Spanish clubs have really, really struggled financially in the last 2 or 3 years. So if I had to put my money down, I would say Man City. I think he'll go to City. And yeah, I think basically Real will just have to make do with Mbappe. I think it's more likely that they'll get him. Yeah. So let's continue. Yeah. So obviously we have to move on to our German the alphabet as well, don't we? So this week is actually D, and it's going to be DFL, Deutsches Fußballliga, which is actually the governing body who organizes the Bundesliga. So, I mean, obviously in Germany, they like these kind of like 3-letter like abbreviations, you know. I mean, a lot of people know the DFB, which means the Deutsches Fußballbund. literally means like the kind of like basically the German version of the FA. But the DFL is actually the kind of governing body that runs the Bundesliga. So, yeah, quite an interesting one. Deutsches literally means German. I mean, I think most people know Deutschland and is the German way of saying Germany. Fußball is like, yeah, literally means football in German. And then Liga, I think, quite obviously means league. So it literally means the German Football League, basically. And that is the governing body who organizes the Bundesliga and also all. I think they organise down to the Dry Liga, actually, in Germany, which is the top flight isn't separate like in England, where obviously they have the Premier League and then the Football League. In Germany, it's just the Deutsches Fußballliga, which is like the top 3 leagues. And then after the top 3 leagues in Germany, you already go down to the local leagues, actually, after that, called the Kreisliga and the Regionalliga. So, yeah, they only actually have 3 national leagues in Germany, whereas in England, it's obviously, I think it's 5 national leagues they have in England, isn't it? Right down to the National League. So, yeah, there you go. There's your alphabet for the week. D, the DFL, the Deutsches Fußballliga. So, what else have we got? So, yeah, Mateo Castillo, yeah, our Spanish viewer says, Haaland must come to Spain, but please not Barca or Madrid. Please come to Betis. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, obviously, Betis having a great season over in La Liga this year as well. I think the third. I mean, Mateo or Paul, I know you guys follow the Spanish game a lot. Like, you can correct me on that one, but I'm pretty sure they're doing really well under. And I think they've still got Pellegrini as the coach, actually. I mean, obviously, Man City and Villarreal legend as well, Pellegrini. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Real Betis could be the place to put the money down for Haaland's next destination. Yeah, Gary Jones as well says, will Nuremberg get promoted anytime soon, do you think? Will you get to many games and will you do some filming of what the ground's like so we can see the atmosphere? Yeah. Well, yeah, to answer your first question, no, I don't think so, unfortunately. I mean, everyone in Nuremberg wants it to happen. We all want to see Bundesliga football. Yeah, but I just don't think it's likely at the minute. I mean, I was lucky enough, the first year I came to Nuremberg, actually, I was able to see Bundesliga football because Nuremberg were in the Bundesliga at that time, but they finished 17th and have been basically nowhere near promotion ever since, really. This season started well, but it's kind of fallen off the last few weeks, really. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, will I get to many games? Yeah, I mean, I do go to games, but unfortunately, here in Bavaria, we have these kind of crazy restrictions, really. Even now, I think only this weekend, actually, for the first time, 10,000 fans could go back into the Max Morlock Stadium. But obviously, with only 10,000, tickets are like gold dust, so most of them end up in the pockets of the ultras or the members and things like that. So unfortunately, I've only been to one game this season, actually, and even that was capped at, I think, 20,000 as well. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get down to some games. And I do plan on doing some filming as well. And I also want to do some ground hopping in Germany too. So when, like, you're allowed full grounds again, I want to get over to Stuttgart, you know, Hoffenheim's nearby, maybe even catch a Bayern Munich or an 1860 Munich game in the Allianz Arena. So, yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking to do in the next, few months or even years, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people saying that they want Nuremberg to get promoted here. It would be absolutely class, to be honest, that's for sure. Yeah. Another good question as well from Paul there. Just on following on from Steve Tim's question, do Hansa Rostock and the big clubs from the old DDR Oberliga still have a large following? Yeah, the answer is yes, really. Yeah, I mean, Dynamo Dresden are known to have some of the craziest fans in the whole of Germany. I mean, they're definitely, they're not for everyone, Dynamo Dresden, that's for sure. Obviously, they do have very close ties to the right of the political spectrum. But one thing for sure, it's a spectacular game when you watch the Dynamo Dresden fans. I mean, they really, really get behind the team. They're almost like a cult club as well, I would say, Dynamo Dresden. But, they're not the most liked club in Germany, that's for sure, because obviously, yeah, a lot of people consider them to be, not on the right mentality and things like that. Obviously, sometimes they get in trouble a little bit as well with hooliganism and the likes. Hansa Rostock, I would say they're the second biggest club in the old Oberliga. I mean, they also get good crowds of at least 15 to 20,000, I would say, in the Zweite Bundesliga, which is a solid number. You've got to remember as well, like the old DDR is like probably not the most economically privileged part of Germany as well. So I think like it's probably harder for people to get to games than it is, for example, in Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, or Hessen, I would say. But yeah, they definitely do have fans. They have a big appetite for the game in that part of the country as well. Okay, so yeah, let's come back to the questions a little bit later now and move on to the two big games of the weekend. So yeah, this week's Over the Bar featured for game number 2 is the Bayern 3, Leipzig 2. I mean, what a game this was. You know, a lot of people were predicting it would be a little bit more low scoring this time, but it proved to be anything but the point. I mean, obviously, Thomas Müller got the ball rolling. Not the best goalkeeping, really, from Gulazzi to kind of parry out the shot. I think it was from Tolisso, parried out right into the path of Thomas Müller, who just easily finished into the empty net. That was 1-0. But yeah, Leipzig were playing really, really well. Dani Olmo, the returning Dani Olmo, obviously he's missed a lot of this season through injury. He missed 2 great chances, which would have made it 1-1. Really, really good chances quite early on in the match as well. And it was Konrad Laimer kind of chipped the goalkeeper. It was a strange situation, really. He chipped the goalkeeper. And then Andre Silva was literally waiting right on the line from a very tight angle. And somehow he just managed to squeeze it over. It was quite a good finish, really, I would say. That was 1-1. Then obviously Thomas Müller got a second goal disallowed for a foul on Josep Guardiola. It was actually Lewandowski who fouled the Leipzig defender, which led to a VAR disallowed goal for Bayern. So it was 1-1. But it wasn't to be denied. Obviously, that man, Kingsley Coman, swinging in a brilliant crossing for that man, Lewandowski, you know, who got his customary goal. Doesn't go, you know, he scores pretty much every game, doesn't he? So that was for 2-1. But yeah, again, Leipzig came back. You know, they have improved a lot under Daniel Tedesco, the new coach, since Jesse Marsch was sacked. And yeah, once again, Konrad Laimer sliding in another really good ball for that man, Nkunku. One of few real bright sparks for Leipzig this season, who finished well for 2-2. Then obviously, you know, it's 50-50 at this point, but it was FC Bayern Munich who went on to win the game. And, you know, it was one of them, really. It was a bit disappointing from that man, Gvardiol, who didn't have his best game, to be honest, in the Leipzig defence. It was a good little ball in from Gnabry, and it was definitely going towards Lewandowski in the 6-yard area. But I mean, Gvardiol just kind of gets a big foot on it when he's got to do a little bit better for me, really. And he just kind of loops over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. And it's 3-2 to Bayern. But even then, I mean, Leipzig could still have got a point. There was still half an hour to go at that point. And I mean, I think it was Forsberg had 2 really, really good chances as well, but just couldn't beat Neuer, who had a good game overall, really, you would say. With about 5 minutes to go, Forsberg, he hit the first shot straight at Neuer, who kind of spilled it. And then the second shot was probably the better chance of the 2. But, you know, it wasn't to be for Leipzig. But it was a good performance, a kind of positive performance from Leipzig to get so close to Bayern after the season they've had. But ultimately, it ends up in a defeat. And, you know, they're still just outside those Champions League places at the minute, Leipzig. But I do believe if they carry on playing the way they've done the last 6 or 7 weeks, and I think they probably will end up getting into that Champions League reckoning, because, you know, they've got quality players all over the park. The likes of Andre Silva's started scoring, which is massive. You know, Nkunku's still playing well. Olmo's back now, and I mean, he's a huge player for them. Konrad Laimer was brilliant in this match as well. Still problems defensively, and I mean, Gulazzi didn't have his best game in this match, that's for sure. You know, Gvardiol hasn't really covered himself in that much glory since he signed from Dinamo Zagreb in the summer. But yeah, I think overall, good performance from Leipzig. But, you know, Bayern probably just about deserved to win the game, really. And another good performance in a big match from them. Thomas Müller was brilliant. Lewandowski was class. Gnabry, obviously, big talk that he could leave in the summer as well because Bayern Munich, he wants too much money, basically. That's what the German press is saying. He wants too much money and that Bayern aren't willing to break the bank for a player of Gnabry's caliber, which, you know, some people might be a bit shocked about. But, you know, Bayern do have very strict principles when it comes to giving contracts out, and they don't want to break the bank just for one player. Yeah, good win for them. And yeah, obviously, as a result of the next game we're going to cover now, which was Dortmund 2, Leverkusen 5, Bayern are now 9 points clear at the top again with a much superior goal difference to second place Dortmund. And it doesn't look good for the North Rhine-Westphalen side. But yeah, I mean, what a game this was. I mean, it doesn't really surprise anyone that this game ended up 5-2, does it really? Let's be honest, considering that the last two meetings between these sides have both ended up 4-3 as well. One of them to Leverkusen and one of them to Dortmund earlier in the season. But yeah, I mean, what a performance this was for Leverkusen. That man, Geraldo Soane, the new Leverkusen coach, is really proven himself to be pretty good at the minute. Obviously, quite comfortably in third place in the league now, Leverkusen. I think everyone expected that their target would be Champions League to get back into those top four positions for the first time in 3 or 4 seasons now, you know, and they look well on course to do it at the minute because they've got quality players all over the park. This was just a brilliant performance, really, you know. You have to say, though, the first goal was just a comedy cuts basically from the Dortmund defense, just not good enough at all, in all honesty. I mean, obviously Mats Hummels was missing. Obviously Haaland also, we've got to mention that he was also missing in this game. But the first goal was just a complete and utter joke, really, from the Dortmund defense. Zagadou, who replaced Hummels, just literally just booted the ball clear from inside his own box. It ends up, I think it was Frimpong's feet, actually. And then Frimpong just hits a shot. It's saved by Kobel. And then literally Akanji just clumsily bundles the ball into the back of his own net. I mean, terrible defending from both Akanji and Zagadou, really, for that opening goal. Then just a few minutes later, it's the free kick coming in from Brand from the right-hand side. Well whipped in. And, you know, the Leverkusen defence, not the best, really, are they? Let's be honest. Certainly not as good as the Leverkusen attack. They make a bit of a mess of it, and it's kind of headed by Frimpong onto the hand of Patrick Schick, and it goes into the back of the net. So within 15 minutes, we've already had 2 own goals in this game. So, you know, not the best start defensively, that's for sure. But, you know, the third goal in this match really showed the quality of the away side, Leverkusen. Brilliant football. Diaby's involved, ends up in the feet of Florian Wirtz, who just like really well kind of chips the ball over Kobel in the Dortmund net. It's a brilliant goal from Wirtz. I mentioned it before that he's one of the kind of big guys to watch nowadays in the Bundesliga. But this was great counter-attacking football for this goal that we just love to see from Bayer Leverkusen. Then 8 minutes later, you know, we end up seeing the fourth goal in this match, and it's that man Andrich, another player that came from obviously from Union Berlin, but he came in the summer. He bent a really nice free kick past the home goalkeeper, and they're already 3-1 up inside half an hour, basically, in this one. The game doesn't get any better for the home side in the second half. Jonathan Tah takes advantage of more woeful defending from the home side. I think it was Akanji just kind of clumsily cleared a corner, like half-heartedly really cleared the corner. And then Jonathan Tah, I mean, what a finish this was, to be fair, from the centre half and the German international for Leverkusen. He kind of like half-volleyed the ball into the back of the net, right into the top corner. It was a really good goal, this one. Good finish, anyway, that's for sure. That was 4-1. Then, yeah, it doesn't get any better at all for the home side. I mean, Moussa Diaby, after 78 minutes, just puts the game beyond any doubt whatsoever by just kind of chipping the ball over Kobel for 5-1. The Dortmund fans are going crazy. They're not happy at all, but they did have a little bit to cheer at the end when Stefan Tigges, the kind of backup for Haaland, did manage to tap into an empty net after more poor defending from the away side. but it's very little, like pretty much useless consolation really in this one for Dortmund, because they still ended up losing 5-2. But the last two goals were important for the over 5.5 and over 6.5 goal bettors, that's for sure. I think I made quite a bit from those two late goals, so I was pretty happy about that. But yeah, I mean, Leverkusen, they're getting better at game management, aren't they? I mean, we criticized them a lot about the game management at times in the last few years. But in this game, they just kept going from strength to strength, really. And I think in that period between 1-1, they gave away a bit of a clumsy equaliser. But from when they went 2-1 ahead, there was only one side in it, to be honest. And they completely dominated the game. You know, very, very good performance. Soane is really starting to build something there. I think they're still in the Europa League as well, you've got to remember. So, I mean, they've got to have a chance of winning that the way they're playing at the minute. I think the key for them is just keeping their head above water, you know, and don't let one bad result get them down, you know, because what we've seen too often with Leverkusen in the past is that they have one bad result and they just fall apart, basically. And obviously they can't afford to do that. The very minimum goal at the minute has to be fourth place, really, for Leverkusen. But for me, they can still push for second, really. They proved in this game that they're more than good enough to finish above Dortmund. I think, obviously, the championship's out of their reach because of that bad run they had, I think, in October, November time. The 14 points behind Bayern at the top. But, I mean, they've got a great chance of second for me, and maybe having a run in the Europa League as well to the semis or even the final, I would say. Okay, let's head back to some of the questions as well that we've got in. Mark Baker, said, would also say if you could find any English comment, maybe you can have an interview at a local game and get their thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people in Germany that speak pretty good English as well, actually. So, yeah, it's definitely something I want to do as well. I think the vlogging is something that's really interesting as well from us. From our perspective, because obviously we do like to go to games as well. I think Rory and a few of the other over the bar guys have talked about coming over to watch some games as well, not just in Nuremberg, but also like all over Germany, really. I mean, it's a great league. It's a great football culture in this part of the world. So yeah, it's definitely something we want to do, interview locals and get the pre-match atmosphere, you know. You can also drink beer at German games as well, which is something that obviously hasn't been possible in English matches for many, many years. So, yeah, we want to try that as well. Yeah, good. Yeah, Rory also adds, Leverkusen were also always going to bag goals against Dortmund's defenders. Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that one. I mean, yeah, Dortmund were just so poor defensively in this game, really. I mean, Zagadou has got to look at himself in the mirror after that one. And to be honest, Akanji as well. They were both absolutely pathetic performances, really, from the Dortmund central defence. I mean, I don't think Hummels is the world beater he was a few years ago, you know, but he definitely looked a lot better than them two, that's for sure. And if Dortmund want to kind of continue their push for you've got to say a title challenge still, really, yeah. And obviously they'll be expected to do well in the Europa League. They need to get Hummels back because, I mean, obviously, Rory also kind of touches on the fact that they did get Süle as well, which is a massive signing. Obviously, Süle I think it was only announced today. I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, that one, but it's definitely a big point in the German media at the moment that they've officially announced Süle from Bayern to Dortmund. Yeah, I think everyone expected Süle to end up in the Premier League at Tottenham or Newcastle, but yeah, I agree with Rory that it's a really, really good signing that for the Dortmunders going forward. You know, a defender who's more than pulled his way to Bayern as well, and now he's potentially joining the arch rivals, really. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that one. Okay. So, yeah, I think that pretty much takes us through. We're not going to focus on the talking point this week because obviously it's just myself, and we'll probably... We were going to mention something about the transfer window, but I think it's better that we can leave that until Rory's back next week. Yeah, Dan Green also mentions, yeah, definitely would love to see Over the Bar lads all together vlogging a game. You should do Germany in League One and League Two. Yeah, yeah, I'm actually hoping to get back over to the UK as well at some point in March. Well, but obviously COVID, hopefully that won't interrupt my plans. But yeah, definitely want to get to a game or two then. Yeah, well, anyway, that pretty much sums up that rounds up the show for tonight. Yeah, so let me just go over the last bits. So yeah, remember, if you enjoyed what you saw today, at Over the Bar FB and at Over the Bar Extra, yeah, OTBfootball.net, that's like the kind of centerpiece of our stuff. We do all sorts of stuff on there, like written articles about everything football related. And yeah, of course, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe below, yeah, because it obviously helps us to build up more following and produce more content for you. So yeah, thanks for joining tonight. It's been great to see a lot of interaction today. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been only me, so it's been a little bit difficult at times just for me to do it alone. But yeah, looking forward to having the usual guest back on Thursday for our predictions and fantasy football show ahead of week 22. So yeah, see you then.